Welcome to the Full of Tracy Money Audio Commentary. This is Owen Tracy recording. It's 3:45 p.m. That is Central Time, and today is September 29th. Well, today oil prices were down almost $2.50 on Brent and a bit more than that on West Texas Intermediate. That was directly in response to the promise of peace in the Middle East, at least in Gaza. Quite whether that turns out to be the case remains to be seen, but at least President Netanyahu has agreed to a 20-point plan for peace in Gaza. So that put downward pressure on oil prices. But at the same time, we had a very strong day in gold bullion. It was up $70, so that's a new high. Silver was up 39 cents. Platinum was up $35. And then palladium, following a strong performance last week, was reasonably unchanged. It was down about $11. What we are starting to see, though, is a bit more enthusiasm around Bitcoin, and that was up $3,500. And Ethereum was up 178. So that is now holding the move above 4,000, pushing back up towards the peak seen in this cycle. And there's clearly the potential that as we head into October, which is seasonally one of the most bullish times for Bitcoin, that we should see a bit more enthusiasm surrounding the outlook for the cryptocurrency. Then copper prices were up in a rather dynamic manner today on the COMEX contract, 13 cents, pushing towards the $5 level once more. We're getting a lot more concentration now, particularly in the media, around resource nationalism, or I think what has been kind of referred to as the arsenal of democracy, or in other terms, the arsenal of anarchy, if you're thinking about the fact that Russia and China dominate the supply of resources to much of the rest of the world. And relying on your geopolitical adversary or competition to be munificent is a little bit of a risky strategy. And I think that's a bit of also an understatement. Then we had a reasonably positive day on stock markets. The Chinese market was up in excess of 1%. In fact, the Hang Seng was up almost 2% today. Europe was in positive territory by and large, but not up in a dynamic manner. And then Wall Street closed out the day in positive territory, with the best performance being in the Nasdaq, up almost 0.5%. So we are still in a rather bullish environment overall. And then the broad question, I think, is most